What's up and welcome in. You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Senior. Today's show is presented by Manscaped. Nick Bosa has 17.5 sacks this year. He's 2 away from breaking the franchise record or tying the franchise record set by Alton Smith. And if you want to clean up your sack, you can do that with Manscaped, the best men's grooming products. Join the 7 million men who have put their trust in Manscaped to make them look good and feel good in the bedroom. 20% off and free shipping if you head to manscaped.com/49ers, promo code 49ers. We'll put that link in the comment section and the description of this video. So on the show today, DeMeco Ryans, according to Josina Anderson, a leading candidate for the Denver Broncos gig. And I can tell you right now, it's not going to be the only job that DeMeco is going to interview for. We'll also talk about Nick Bosa here and, of course, the NFC playoff picture, San Francisco in a very good spot. But we start with DeMeco Ryans here. According to that report from Josina Anderson, other various reports out there, DeMeco expected to be one of the leading candidates for the Broncos head coaching job after Nathaniel Hackett got fired. Last year, had an opportunity for that Vikings vacancy. He didn't take it. He actually pulled out and decided to return to the Niners as their defensive coordinator because he didn't feel as though he was ready. But it's clear now he's ready to be a head coach in this league. And whether he gets the Broncos job or not, he's going to be one of the top candidates in the 2023 cycle. This is a guy who has all of the necessary head coaching qualities, that you look for in a candidate. And Broncos candidates, according to Josina, here are the names so far that are kind of out there as the Broncos really embark on that search to look for that Nathaniel Hackett replacement, who was clearly just a joke of a head coach in the league. Dan Quinn, current Cowboys defensive coordinator. Darrell, Bevell, Dolphins quarterbacks coach. Eric Bienemy, the Chiefs offensive coordinator. He's had several interviews over time. Sean Payton, the former Saints head coach. DeMeco Ryans, obviously the Niners defensive coordinator. And then Shane Steichen is the Eagles offensive coordinator. All of these guys will get interviews for either Denver or other teams out there looking for a head coach in this upcoming cycle. And it's easy to see why DeMeco is on that list and why he's so sought after in the NFL head coaching carousel, because this defense last year, one of the best in the NFL after they got it together following that 3-5 start. And this year, they are the best in the NFL. Points per game, first. Yards per game, first. Rushing yards per game, atop the league. First downs allowed per game, also first. DVOA, if you're interested in the analytics, first. Expected points average per play, first. Success rate, first. Not bad for DeMeco Ryans, no doubt about it. And if I am leading a business, right, this is why I think that DeMeco Ryans can be a good head coach. And these are a lot of the qualities that I'm trying to check off when I interview any coaches out there to run my franchise, because the head coach is basically like the CEO, right? A lot of power within that position. DeMeco obviously has a specialty. It's the defensive side of the ball. Went to Alabama. Great player in the NFL. Now he's become an expert coaching defense. So he is a defensive mastermind. When he was a player, he has the great experience of being a fantastic dude in between the lines, former All-Pro, and a Pro Bowler. So the level of experience is there, and players certainly respect that. Also important qualities when you're running any business and you try to hire somebody. Leadership, communication skills. DeMeco has that. When he mans the podium, he mans it. Strong presence. He's respected by players as well as his peers. And he has ties around the league from his days as a player and as a coach, I think, to build a really good staff. Now, he's going to have to get offensive coordinator right. That is usually what you have to lock down if you're a defensive-oriented head coach, but I think he'll be able to do that, and maybe he'd poach some guys off the Niners staff. A lot of guys got poached off this Niners staff from last year. Kyle Shanahan kept it moving. And speaking of Kyle Shanahan, can we give him credit here? 3 straight cycles with a coach from his coaching staff getting hired as a head coach. A couple of years ago, Robert Saleh. Last year, Mike McDaniel. This year, it's going to be DeMeco Ryans. And all of those coaches, minority candidates as well. We know that the NFL has put an emphasis on that by implementing the Rooney Rule. So let's give Shanahan credit for pinpointing and identifying quality coaches in this league and developing them as well. Before we keep it moving here on today's show, make sure you subscribe. We talk Niners news, rumors, and analysis every single day, not just during the season. Year-round, though. So lock us in. If you want to stay in the know with all things Niners year-round, we appreciate all of the support in advance. Today's show is presented by Manscaped. Fellas, this episode presented to you by the leader of men's grooming products out there. It is Manscaped, the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming. They're leaving 2022 with some brand new products, by the way. Cologne, body wash. 2023 is the year to up your hygiene and smell amazing for your lady or significant other, and Manscaped wants to help you do that with this special offer. Use the code 49ers for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com/49ers. You can take the leap into the new year and join the 7 million men who already trust Manscaped. 2023 is on its way, and the last thing you want is to be the guy with pubes getting in the way of you making it your best yet. The Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0, the leader of the Performance Package 4.0, or as I call it, the perfect package for my package. And it can be the perfect package for your package as well. Manscaped.com/Niners. We'll put that link in the comment section and the description of this video. To Nick Bosa now, and then a note. Let's just run through the NFC playoff picture at the end since I teased that. Nick Bosa, what a special player, man. It's a joy watching this guy week in, week out because of his devotion to his craft, how seriously he takes a game of football, his love for it, but also him just being the dominant player that he is. Has the drafting of Nick Bosa completely changed this Niners franchise? We're going to tackle that question coming up here in just a second. But for Bosa, best pass rusher in football, and he deserves credit for also being really good against the run, but also elevating others around him, not just on that defensive line, but also all across that defense. So last year, career year for him, coming off that torn ACL, when he tallied 15.5 sacks, 32 quarterback hits, 21 tackles for loss, 4 forced fumbles, and 52 tackles. This year, though, it was going to be hard to duplicate what he did a year ago. He's done that, and he's actually been even better. 17.5 sacks with 2 games left, 42 quarterback hits, both of those figures better than a year ago, 21 tackles for loss, same number as last year, 2 forced fumbles, and 48 total tackles. This guy's really special, and he's 2 sacks away, as I alluded to start the program, from tying Aldon Smith for the most sacks in the history of this franchise. That happened in 2012 for Aldon Smith when he played 16 games, had 19.5 sacks, 29 quarterback hits, 8 tackles for loss, 3 forced fumbles. And this year, Bosa didn't miss a game, so he's going to tie Aldon Smith for the same amount of games played if he plays the remaining 2. So he doesn't have that argument of, oh, he played in more games, that's why he broke the record. Get out of here with that noise. 17.5 sacks, so he's 2 away. 42 quarterback hits as compared to 29 for Aldon. 18 tackles for loss, same number there. 2 forced fumbles for Bosa as compared to 3 for Smith. Better at their peak, I think it's Nick Bosa. And that's wild because Aldon Smith, he was stupid talented back in the day. Now, back to that original question. Has Nick Bosa completely changed the way that this 49ers team is viewed on the defensive side of the ball? And has he changed the course of this franchise? Well, let's take a look at the defensive rankings year by year since Kyle Shanahan was hired back in 2017. So this is Shanahan's first year. Points allowed, they were 25th. Yards allowed, 24th. Sacks, 26th. Let's go to 2018. Points allowed, 28th. Yards allowed, 13th. Sacks, 23rd. Now we go to the Super Bowl season in 2019 when Bosa got drafted in the first round. Points allowed, 8th. You see the difference from the previous 2 years? It's clear. Yards allowed, 2nd. Sacks, 5th. Then he tore his ACL early in 2020 against the Jets in the Meadowlands. And the 49ers defense certainly struggled without him. Now, there were injuries across the entire defensive side of the ball, but there's no question that the Niners missed Nick Bosa. Look at the drop in figures here. Points allowed, 17th. Yards allowed, 5th. Sacks, 22nd. To 2021 last year, Bosa, 15.5 sacks. It's a crime he wasn't named an All-Pro. Points allowed, 9th. Yards allowed, 3rd. Sacks, 5th. And this year, it's probably the best Niners defense that we've seen in a long time. If they end up winning a Super Bowl, I've said this a couple of times, they could go down as the best defense in the history of the NFL, considering the rule changes to cater offenses, as well as just the game being offensive-oriented. Points allowed, 1st, led by Bosa, no doubt. Yards allowed, atop the league, and sacks checking in at 6th. When you talk about Nick Bosa does a lot on the football field to elevate his teammates, to elevate this defense, and to make it the best defense that we've seen in recent memory. I think it's the best defense in the NFL, going back to the Legion of Boom days with the Seattle Seahawks. Bosa is a game wrecker. Bosa is a game changer. Bosa is a closer. He can change the complexion of football games and win you games just by being a pass rusher and wreaking havoc on opposing offensive lines and just causing nightmares for opposing quarterbacks. He's a big-time playmaker, and he loves his craft. Mike McDaniel, in the lead up to that Dolphins-Niners game, said that Nick Bosa would approach a water jug and he'd do some pass rush moves on it. Like, he's always looking to get better. And to be great in life at anything that you do, you have to have that special level of intensity, that special level of passion, and you have to be devoted to just maximizing your abilities as a person, and in his case, an athlete. And that's exactly what Nick Bosa brings to the table, and he's going to get paid after next offseason because he's the best pure pass rusher in the National Football League. So to show Bosa some love, what a beast, man. I'm telling you, every single week you get to watch him, it's special. Type his jersey number down below in the comment section. It is 97. Now, a lot of you have been asking us about the NFC playoff picture, so let's round out with that. The Philadelphia Eagles, 13-2, after that loss to the Dallas Cowboys, they still maintain that number 1 seed in the NFC. If they lose out and the Niners win out with a Vikings loss, the Niners can still get that top seed. Vikings escaped another close one against the Giants, 61-yard field goal as time expired. So they're still in that 2 spot. Bucks, they beat the Cardinals as Tom Brady pulled off more heroics to maintain that lead in the NFC South. And then the wild card teams, Dallas Cowboys already clinched a playoff spot. New York Giants haven't, nor had the Washington Commanders. And then teams in the hunt here getting pretty interesting. Seattle Seahawks 7-8, Lions 7-8. Both of those teams lost this past weekend. So Green Bay is still alive. So too is Carolina and New Orleans because of the NFC South just having a down year. So which team is the biggest threat to the Niners in the NFC? Drop me a team name down below in the comment section. Y'all are the best. We appreciate you.